This video is an introduction to the second year core chemistry laboratory program. My name is Markus Müller and I'm the second year lab director. The second year chemistry labs are on level 5 of the chemistry building. This introductory video will tell you a bit about how these labs will run. You must watch this video and answer the short quiz about what you have seen before you can access other important parts of this Canvas site. As part of this lab course, you must attend 8 lab sessions in weeks 1 to 8. Labs run from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Make sure that you turn up ready to start and with pre-lab work completed at 1 p.m. You will be rotating through 6 different experiments in this lab course. All students will complete experiment 1 in week 1. From week 2 onwards, you will then rotate through other experiments according to your group. Your timetable tells you which lab you are in, and a copy of your group's rotation schedule will be given to you in week 1. You can also find your personal experiment roster on Canvas. The lab classes are full, so we cannot allow students to swap between days or catch up on missed labs. It is therefore essential that you attend the day for which you have been timetabled. If you absolutely must change lab days for 1 week, you must contact me at least 1 week in advance to see whether it is possible to organize this swap. If you just turn up at the lab, you will not be allowed in. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the lab program on Canvas, as it contains all the essential information you will need for this course. You can access your personal experiment roster and additional information on each experiment, as well as training material by clicking on your group link. You will only have access to the specific content after you have finished watching this video and scored 100% in the introductory and safety quiz. Once you can access the group folders, you will see your experiment roster. You must complete the pre-work associated with each experiment before you come to lab. Each experiment also has a resources folder, which will be unlocked after you have scored 100% in your pre-work quiz. The resource folders contain additional information on the experiments, lab techniques, as well as worksheets and other training and reading material. Most importantly, it contains the directory for report submission. Please watch the video on report submission for more information on how to submit your lab assignments. The things you should do before week 1. Please pick up a lab manual for your unit of study from the level 5 service room as soon as you can. Read through it thoroughly, as it contains all the information you need about these labs. You will also have access to an electronic copy on Canvas. Experiments might take the full 4 hours to complete, so it is important that you come prepared and with a plan to make good use of your lab time. Before you come to lab each week, you must complete the online pre-work for the experiment you will be doing. This is a very easy quiz, just 5 multiple choice questions, and many of the answers can be found in the lab manual. You can attempt this quiz as many times as you like, but you must score 100%. The pre-work is essential, as it is designed to prepare you for the lab and also covers any safety issue. If you haven't done the pre-work, you will not be allowed into the lab, and you will therefore get a mark of 0 for that week. Most experiments will be performed individually, but for a couple you will be working in groups. In addition, for some labs you will pool your data at the end of the lab and use the combined data to write your assignment. One of the goals of the lab program is to teach you to record and report your scientific results. We require that the reports are your own individual work and not plagiarized from other students or other sources. The exception to this is the oral presentation for experiment 3, which is presented jointly with your lab partner. We actively check for plagiarism, and in any case where we identify copying from anywhere, we will need to take further action. You will be given a lab notebook that looks like this. You must record all your data in the notebook, including pasting result sheets and printed spectra, and write down anything that is important. If you want to make a query, or you query a mark or ask a question, you must bring your notebook with you so we can check what you actually did in the lab. In your first lab, you will be given a green card. This card will show your group and your individual timetable, and it will also contain spots for the demonstrators or technicians to sign, so you can be issued with chemicals in the lab or to acknowledge that you have handed in the sample. Paste this inside the front cover of your lab book. If you have completed chemistry labs last semester and you still have your lab notebook, then please continue to use it. This will save us from wasting half-filled notebooks. There are lots of people to help you in the labs. Each day there will be several demonstrators, one with each group, plus an academic supervisor. Shane and Carlo at the service room will also be able to help you. Before you start each lab, a demonstrator will give a brief introductory talk. It is essential that you arrive at the lab by 1 p.m. so you don't miss this talk. You must also make sure you finish with plenty of time left to clean up and to leave by 5 p.m. The lab doors shut and lock at 5:15, so you must be out by then. You must clean up your lab space before you leave, and leave it looking the same as when you came in. Students the next day will be using the same equipment and glassware as you, so you each need to make sure that things are neat and tidy for the next lot of students. If you leave without cleaning up, you may be penalized 10% of your mark. Overall, approximately 50% of the marks from the lab course come from the results you obtain, 40% from your lab report, and 10% comes from the pre-work. More information about the breakdown of marks can be found in the lab manual. The results marks will be based on your performance in the lab, your yield or product quality, or the accuracy of your measurement. The report mark will be based on how you write and present the report and consider the discussion questions. Your report is submitted, marked, and feedback returned to you on Canvas. You must view a short video on report submission and feedback, and then complete the associated quiz before you can submit any reports. Please do not provide your name on any submissions, as it has to be marked anonymously. Provide your SID instead. There's lots of information about how to write reports in the lab manual and on Canvas, so make sure you consult it. During the first week of lab, your demonstrator will also revise some training about lab reports from last semester, and your first short report is directly related only to these aspects. It is essential that you think about safety and work safely whenever you are in the lab. You must be wearing closed shoes, safety glasses, a lab coat, and have long hair tied back at all times. Whenever you step out of the lab, even if it's just to go to the toilet, you must take off your lab coat. You are not allowed to wear a lab coat anywhere in the common areas of the building. As usual, there should be no eating or drinking in the laboratory, and you are not permitted to use your mobile phones while you're in the lab. If you absolutely must take a call, please step outside. The only exception to this rule is that you may use your camera to photograph some results for your report, such as your TLC plates. However, you will need to put your phone in a zip bag in order to avoid chemical contamination. There's also a safety map in the lab manual, which will help you identify all important safety features. You must complete this map and have it signed by a demonstrator when you first come to the lab before starting any experimental work. One aspect of safety is that we need to keep track of who is in the lab at all times in case of an evacuation. We are doing this by having a sign-in, sign-out computer where you can scan your cards each time you walk in or out of the lab. You must do this even if you're just going out to the toilets or to have a drink of water. The computer will record your attendance at the lab, but we will not record any other information. We are only collecting this information for safety reasons. If you do not have a student card with you, you can simply type in your SID. That's all I wanted to say for now. You can now look forward to coming into the lab and do some fun experiments this semester. Make sure you do the quiz after this video, and remember to pick up your lab manual and do your pre-work before you come to class. Remember to select the right pre-work for your experiments. I look forward to welcoming you soon in the labs. Bye.